Manx Radio's Countryside is brought to you by NFU Mutual.
Hello and welcome to this week's Countryside here on Manx Radio. I'm Simon Clark.
And I'm Kirree. At the weekend, I popped along to the Cronk-y-Voddy Ploughing Match at Bolliger in Peel.
It was the opening weekend of this season for the Isle of Man Transport Museum in Kirree, and I went along to one of the little vegetable shops around the Isle of Man to find out how things were going there after the lockdown. Well, firstly, Kirree, always keep an eye on what's happening around the farms, and still the sowing of the seeds is continuing. Lots of dust was happening over the weekend, certainly, with the dry land.
Yeah, the land was very, very hard there, especially out at Peel as they were trying to catch up with some of the ploughing matches too. But the boys are now starting to get ready to plant the green crops, which is the turnips and the rape and the kale for the winter lambs and fattening off the winter lambs. And some of the cattle can be stored on the kale. They'll be going in May time here now, so they're busy getting that earth. Yeah,
and there's loads of colour around, particularly around our place with the oilseed rape and the green field, the yellow fields that are about look absolutely wonderful.
They do look stunning, don't they? Just, and it's really nice that Ellerslie there do the oilseed rape, and Penty and the family there do a good job of it too. But it does look really, really well when you're looking off the mountain road out across. It stands out something unbelievable, doesn't it?
It does indeed. Well, during the pandemics, of course, there was loads of little shops around the Isle of Man, around the farm lanes that help to keep people stocked up with the vegetables and bits of fruit or whatever they can get hold of, eggs and things. And one such one is situated in Sandygate in Kirree. And I popped along to speak to Cindy Corkle to find out whether things had quietened down a little.
Yeah, they've gone down. They've quieted a bit down, but, I'm still here. I'm still doing something right.
Yeah, you've been one of the ones, though, that have kept going through the last year's lockdown, this year's lockdown again, and obviously a lot of demand on you.
Yeah, it's been hard, but we've got through it all. Laxey, we started in Laxey, and we were taking a good few veggie boxes up there, and a variety of veg as well for people to come down to the prom and buy off us. But yeah, people are asking, so you just got to try and supply all the time, haven't you?
Well, when this shop here at Sandygate was empty for a while, I mean, what sort of made you take this sort of thing on to start with?
It was going to be a hobby, a weekend hobby. So I'd asked Andy Cleater to see if he could have a word with Roy and see if I could open the shop up, and he said yes. And it went from weekend to daily. Now it's monthly, yearly. I'm still here. Still here. Yeah, I've got my regular customers coming down. We're in Laxey on a Wednesday, down on the prom in the shelter. We're at Port Erin now on a Thursday, there by the train station, and there's a few of us that do Tinwell Mills on a Saturday. So yeah, I'm getting around, and people are they like to come and get the fresh veg and have a natter and a yarn and see what variety spuds we all got and what have you. So I just try and get as much as I can locally as I possibly can to supply the people that require it and would like to buy it and whatever else.
Yeah, because one of the attractions, I think, you go in a supermarket or big places, you're on your own, and some of the older generation do like the fact that they can come and have a look around, have a chat, and it's part of their day.
Yeah, I try to be here as much as possible over the weekends. I can't during the week because I'm usually in the kitchen baking. For the places that I go to, but yeah, we have our regulars that come in and decide they might only want to buy one parsnip and half a turnip and something like that. So yeah, we do halves for the elderly or ones that are on their own, and they just come down and they like to get their fresh veg. They go to ShopRite and they think, well, it's all there, but how long's it going to last? So yeah, they come out, they enjoy it. Yeah, they do. It's nice to see them all.
What about the younger generation? Obviously, there's a lot more cookery programmes on the television and things like that. Are the younger ones that come in a bit more positive and aware of what they want?
Yeah, they are. They come and they have a recipe and they'll say, like, blah, blah, have we got any of this, that and the other? And say, yeah, well, that'll do for that recipe. And we try our best to fulfil what they require. Yeah. we're doing okay.
Because the way things are going, a lot of people are trying the vegetarian and vegan diets and things like that, and I suppose that there's ideal ingredients here for them.
Well, yeah, we've had the vegans, we've had the veggies, we have the gluten-frees, so I'm going to try and do some gluten-free cakes for the gluten-frees. Everyone seems to be happy with what they get from here, do you know what I mean? We're hoping this year, I've got Mr. Cleater built another shed for me, and that's going to have all my summer stuff in it, all my soft fruits and the salad stuff and eggs and all the rest of it, so that I could have that in the second shed. And in the first shop I can do some different veggies and cutting them down to the sizes for the customers, half a cabbage, half of whatever else they want.
It just shows though what an important part the little shop, the village shops play when there's a pandemic or some sort of crisis, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, the little places, it has been hard for the little places, and some little places have had to close, but I suppose I'm just one of the lucky ones that has been able to stay open and provide everything that the customer requires. They have been good. They come out and they wait patiently before they go into the shop, and it has worked out really well. It really has this year.
And what about the bacon? That's a big part of it. It's been a big part of your life, I suppose, as well, cooking cakes and various things.
Yeah, I have helped to make cakes in the week. My daughter comes and gives us a hand to make cakes, and we've got into the pasties and the savoury pies and the sweet pies and everything else that we can think of if we've got time to make it. We kept going. We're in the kitchen at least 3-4 times a week, so there's not much free time.
No, hubby working away here behind us as well.
Oh, he is, yeah. I wouldn't be without him, because without him I don't think I could have done it. Like we say, we tried it as a hobby, and it's just materialised from there to be a business, hopefully a successful business, which it has up to now. But yeah, hubby comes out and he weighs spuds out for us if we need them at the weekends, and weighs everything out, carrots if we need to, and sort out the jacket spuds. And yeah, he's a good help. He's a godsend. It's just nice that I don't have to employ anybody else but within the family to actually help me, and they're all behind me, which is a bonus.
And when you look at the spuds on the ground here, just finally, used to be people weren't really educated. They just go in, pick a bag of spuds up and try and do everything with them.
Yeah.
But of course now they get the chance, what do you want them to do with them? Want to roast them, want to do things that...
Yeah, there's a few, the older people that still come here, like the old Saxon and the Zagita, and we've got a jelly in this year that we managed to obtain, and that to us is a fantastic spud, because you can do basically everything with it. Jacket potatoes are absolutely spot on. They do roasties, they do the mash, they do the sliced spuds to go in your hot pots and everything. They are a really good spud this year. They've really done us well.
So, the shop open times here at Sandygate?
Shop's open from about 6:30, 7 o'clock in the morning. Hubby opens it up on his way to work, and we close down about 6:30, 7 o'clock at night. Sundays we attempt to close a little bit earlier so that we can get a little bit of our time, but if we come here and there's still people here, we'll go away and come back maybe an hour or so later and let other people come back into the shop. If they forget something, think, oh damn, I forgot this, that and the other for tea, and we just stay open a little bit longer for them.
Well, keep up the good work. You've done a good job, and long may the business continue.
Thanks, Simon. I hope it does. Yeah, much appreciated. Thank you.
Cindy Corkle from the Sandygate Farm shop telling me how things had been over the lockdown period, and how things are now moving forward. So all these little places, absolutely godsend, weren't they? And you just hope that people will continue to support them all around the island.
They really were. It was absolutely fantastic to see local produce there in the forefront, holding its own. And like you say, the little farm shops, and the way that the farmers diversified to offer their produce in a way that it was safe and social distanced, whether it was through the farmers markets or, like you say, on the roadsides there. But it's always nice to pick up local produce, isn't it? And like you say, really, really hope people keep them in mind as the times hopefully go back to normal.
Indeed. Well, we spoke about the dry weather up to the weekend, and you were with the ploughing people. Did they manage to get the ploughs in the ground?
Just about. My golly, they were doing some chunnering. I'm surprised you couldn't hear them. But no, it was a fantastic event, and Cronk-y-Voddy Ploughing Society there have cancelled due to the COVID. The boys were saying they'd be normally done by the end of March, and it's too late in the year now to be doing a very good job, I suppose. But the ploughs still have to go in to do, like I said before, the turnips and the rape and the kale yet. But I went along to Bolliger. They're out on the Peel Coast Road, and I caught up with some of the boys that were taking part, but also the governor, Sir Richard Gosney, was in attendance, and what a fantastic day he had. Well, sir, you made that look quite easy.
Well, it's not easy, and I doubt that I made it look easy. It's nice of you to say so. But even doing that one round like that, it is very hard work keeping the big wheel up against in the right place so that you try and keep it straight, and you can feel it on your arms.
Ooh.
I'm not used to this manual farm work. It's not what I do. But to do that and spend hours and hours doing that, you'd either need some pretty tough arms to start with, which these fellows do, or you'd end up quite a wreck for quite a long time afterwards. Well, I think it's lovely that people are doing this, and the different classes here with the old vintage tractors, and then a pair of the horses, and then the modern tractors, and enough people still wanting to come out and do it, and I think that's excellent. And there's at least one young chap doing it as well, so there's a chance that the next generation will pick up on it. And it's excellent, and I've read about it in the papers, and this is the first time we've actually been out and seen it ourselves, so I'm very grateful to the Cronk-y-Voddy Ploughing people for asking us along.
Fantastic, and it's really great to see you in action as well, which is lovely. But like you say, these events are so important to the island. It's important that we support them, isn't it?
Yes, I think so. And for them, it's these people take it seriously. This competition, they'll all laugh about it and smile over bacon, baps, and tea afterwards. But at the time, they are quite serious, and quite rightly serious, about getting it right and doing the straightest, best furrow you can get, bit of ploughing you can get. I think it's admirable, and it's good. And what I hadn't realised, one of the ploughers were telling me, that this was the only place in the British Isles where the ploughing competition was kept going through the Second World War. In other words, obviously people throughout the British Isles were ploughing and growing food, but here they actually made time to have a ploughing competition as well in those early 1940s. It's a rather nice touch, that too.
That is really, really lovely, and how important it is. I was talking to Ronnie Fairbairn, one of the last people to do ploughing the Manx style, and how important it was to get the seed beds 100% correct for that reason, to grow food.
Yes, no, he was showing us that as well there, and it's a very different style. And I can't understand why it didn't take off across the British Isles. Yeah. But anyway, it's still being done here, which is nice.
Good. Well, Ronnie, how's it going for you here at Bolliger?
Well, it's good enough going. Ploughing is good enough, but the ground is just a bit hard for the day. It's the wrong time of the year to be ploughing, I can tell you the truth.
Why is that? It's just too late on, or?
It's too late on. It should have been done in the autumn, but with lockdown and nothing going on. So.
Ah, God.
And these chunky fellas always want to carry on, to get the jobs done.
They're tough boys, aren't they? Oh. So what do you got here today, Ronnie?
I'm in the Manx style here today, doing the Manx style. I like the Manx style. It's something to look at.
So what's the difference then between the two types?
Oh, well, it's seed bed, you see. You got a seed bed. Used to be sown with the fiddle or by hand. You used to sow the grain, and when it hit each side of the furrow, it came up like drill marks.
Right, I see, yeah.
But now they got big cultivators, so they just turn it over and
ratch away.
That's exactly it.
I do feel
they haven't got the skill like they used to have in ploughing.
And why do you feel that it is important to get the seed bed?
Well, it used to be, not now with the drills they've got these days and big tractors and wind driven the grain into the ground, not like when you're sowing with a fiddle or by hand or even a horse. Yeah. You see, this was easy work with the horses instead of having to go over the ground, you see. Yeah. I've seen me when I used to do it with the horses, my legs were that tired at night they couldn't lie quiet in bed.
Never.
That tired,
Goodness me, yeah. How things have changed, though.
But this ground over here is nice, but when you get out in ball one day back up, there was hard ground out there.
Is that where you were brought up, was it?
No, I was brought up at Morown, and then I went out to ball one to work. And Everton too. I was at Everton for a while there too, working, and then I moved on. But when I came north and found the soil was different, I went down south for a while. But then I came north. And
North.
the wife said one thing, we never get time to keep any rubbish in the house because you keep moving on.
But they say it's the sunny north, is it right?
Oh, aye, the sun will be down there today. It's frosty this morning though.
Yeah.
Aye,
Right, 1st of May?
1st of May,
Hard
aye,
to
and it's
believe,
still
isn't it?
freezing. Aye.
No.
It's been a long, dragged out winter and spring, it is.
It really has, and boys are wanting the rain now.
Exactly, wanting rain now. The trouble is, it wasn't when to stop like last year. It was all right making silage, but by God, it was a job to make hay last year. But it wasn't a lot of rain, but just annoying stuff.
That's it, there was no 2 days together, hardly much, was there?
No, there was never 2 days, the same at all. But
So how are you going to get on here now then?
if I get this pie sorted out, the rest will be easy.
You reckon?
Yes, until it comes to the finish. Like,
A lovely soil here though, Ronnie.
it's nice, easy soil to work, isn't it?
Oh,
Aye.
beautiful.
It'll be all built on by for you younger ones are dead. Might not when I will, but they'll be joining up with Kirkmichael, and the other people will be joined up with St John's going out that road as well. So.
Houses everywhere. It's the same down with us in Ballasella now.
Houses everywhere.
Anyway, right, I better let you get on.
Very good. That
Good
will
luck,
be
Ronnie.
good.
All right.
Thank you. That's very good.
Well, steady. I missed you at the last one at Ballaquagan, but here we are at Ballagher. How's it going?
Yeah, going all right, really. Yep.
Soil looks pretty nice.
Yeah, it's nice soil. Bit dry, but could be worse.
Yeah, here we are complaining how wet it was at the last tail end of last year, and now it's bone dry.
Yeah, it's not often you're ploughing with dust coming off the back of the plough.
I suppose getting a bit later in the year now as well with the lockdowns, we sort of missed a bit of time.
Yeah, I think they're just sort of getting this one in just for the sake of having it, really. You know, it's a good job they are, but yeah, it would have been a lot better a couple of months ago, but obviously couldn't be. So.
And will that make your job a lot harder?
Yeah, it'd be a bit more challenging, but that's half the fun of it, really.
And what have you got here today?
Just got a Massey 35 and a Ransom plough.
Much tweaking needing to be done?
No, it's not too bad, really. Yep.
Good. Right, well, I better let you get on. I think you see the judges are coming down here. Are they already had a look at you?
Oh, yes, they've had a bit of a skeet, so yeah, it's going all right at the moment. So
good. Mighty. Thanks, Steady.
Yep.
Well, Stiana, I missed you at Ballaquagan. How are you getting on here at Ballagher today?
Not too bad, Kirree. Conditions are challenging enough. It's quite dry. But it could do with a bit of rain, really, around these parts. I heard it's snowing down at home, but
I was pretty desperate coming up to Ballamore. There was plenty of hailstones on the way here at 10:30 this morning. So yeah, hopefully we're getting a bit of a soaking.
I believe, yeah, it'd be nice. It'd do the ground good. But yeah, it's not going too bad. Just joining on to Stephen here now, and measuring up for the finish. So.
And are you far out today, or is it not too bad?
Not too far away, only a couple of inches. So I can got to make a few alterations to the plough to make it come together nicely, hopefully.
And I suppose, Steve, now you've been doing this ploughing a good few years together in the Young Farmers and all the rest of it, and you've always been seen as a young fella. How do you still enjoy it?
Well, yeah, I mean, I think I was 13 when I started ploughing. I was lucky enough, my uncle and my grandfather got me into it. Yeah, still enjoy it. I mean, yeah, you're always trying to improve. That's the thing with it. Every field is different, and you know,
it can be tricky then.
Just challenge. You know, every match is a challenge. Yeah. You know, today it's so dry. You know, trying to get in the ground is a job, but. Yeah, we're getting there. We're closing in on it.
Good. And you're talking about your family there. You're up against your uncle and William. Often, you boys would be out supporting these events.
Yeah, I mean, myself and Will, we try and get out as much as we can.
Bit of family rivalry, maybe.
Bit of rivalry. There's plenty of that. There's plenty of that going on.
And I see there's CD there. He was still leading the race, though, I suppose.
Well, yeah, he thinks he is. we're trying doing our best to catch him, but no, he's a good coach anyway. You learn from the best, don't you? Yeah.
Brilliant. Anyway, Steve, I'll let you get on, get finished. The sun's come out here now again.
It's glorious now, isn't it? Yeah.
Lovely.
Thanks a lot, Kirree.
Gordy Clegg, well, I think it's been a great success here at Bolliger today, but it's the first of two, I hear.
It is the first two. Due to COVID, we've cancelled 3 or 4 times now, but so we're on the 2 matches to try and get them done and dusted, because obviously it's getting late in the year now. We're out in May, but at least I'm only putting green crop in, so it doesn't matter. But there's a very good turnout. This is what would generally be the main Cronk-y-Voddy match, held the 3rd week of January, and next week is what we call the horse ploughing match, which is normally the 3rd week of March.
Oh gosh, so we are well behind the schedule then, Gordy.
We're well behind, but hey, the weather is with us. The ground is quite dry and hard, but it's ploughing all right. But it's a lovely turnout. It's good to see so many people here. I think there's 18 outfits ploughing, including the horses, and a good turnout of people, and it's good to see it.
It really is, and you just mentioned the horses there, Gordon, and we had His Excellency taking part of one of Nicola's horses. My God, it didn't look easy.
No, it's not easy, especially in the hard ground. Even the horses were found a heavy pulling today. But I mean, he done very well, His Excellency, for somebody that hasn't done it before. Just to go straight in there and muck in, it was good to see it.
So this will be the first one. Next week we're back here again at Bolliger.
We're back here in the same site in the field to our left as we're standing now for the second match. But more importantly, next week, the presentation for both matches will be next Saturday night at St John's Church Hall at 7:45. Get that right, 7:45. And that'll be the presentation with a concert and supper served at the Church Hall. It'll be good to see a bit of support there.
I do believe the concert is one of the ones you've got to get in the diary.
Well, we haven't got to get in the diary. I'm just not sure who I've got on the diary yet to do it. What are you doing on the night, Kirree?
But it's these traditional events, so Gordon, you know, in the farming calendar, they need to get out and to be enjoyed, isn't it?
Well, it does. I think people enjoy it. The plough matches have been a good thing all winter. I think there's 11 different matches through the back end. I think there's usually 3 sort of October, November, and then the other 8 in the springtime. But they're usually, the last match is usually the beginning of March, 1st, 2nd week of March. But you know what thing has been, Evan, has been held up, not just ploughing matches, in general with this naughty word called COVID-19. But we've got to put up with it. People's spirits are high. Let's get out and about. Let's enjoy it. We've got to start living our lives. We've got to enjoy it. And
that's what you just said there is right. It's a bit later in the year, but you're also gathering a few crowds. Your general public is coming too. Yes,
it's nice to see quite a few strange faces here that we haven't seen in matches before. Maybe it's the weather, maybe they're enjoying the walk out. We're just on the outskirts of Peel, they're just walking out and enjoying it. It's good to see.
Mona, so what role do you have in all of this in the background of the kitchen?
Well, not a lot really, just making baps, serving baps.
And you can't beat a good sausage and bacon bap.
That's very true. That's very true. With the bap ready.
And what do you make of all the plough matches? You know, over time you'll have been involved for a few years now.
I quite enjoy going to them, you know.
Yeah. And I suppose this side of it is what the ladies would do, and the boys would be out doing the ploughing.
The boys are doing the ploughing, the ladies do the cooking,
Yeah, it would always be, wouldn't it?
It's always been that way,
yeah. And how long have you been involved with them now?
Oh gosh, 60 years, I suppose.
And has it altered much over time?
Well, they used to take sandwiches out in a basket out to the field. And a big urn of tea, like, and just serve that way.
Goodness, now. And now we're in the marquee.
And now we're in the marquee, yeah.
And they all come to you.
They come to us, that's true, yeah.
Under the hedge.
Yes, yeah.
But I suppose one time in the farming times, that's how it would be done. The ladies would come from the farmhouse out to the fields and feed the men.
That's right, yeah.
I suppose with these big modern tractors and all the rest of it, it doesn't quite happen like that anymore.
No. Yeah, but when I was home, like before I was married, my father, he'd be out ploughing with horses, like. And we used to bring their lunch out to the field, 10 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock again in the afternoon. He'd come home for his dinner. Yeah. But they were ploughing from 8 o'clock in the morning till 6 o'clock at night.
Oh, that's some days' work.
And it's a long way to walk.
Oh, yes, this is it. And they were saying just before, Nicola with the horses, she measured up last week, or the last ploughing match here in the butt. She'd done nearly 10 kilometres.
I know.
10 miles. I think it was 10 miles, sorry, yeah. That's an awful lot. And that's just for a hobby.
It is, yes. Yeah.
Whereas you talk about your father, it was necessity.
Yes, it was, yeah.
Yeah. And how times have changed, I suppose.
I know, yes. It's a lot.
Is it for the better?
I don't think so, really. Not really. I mean, maybe some things, maybe yes. But
yeah. It's different in the agricultural world now. You'd have lots of staff around once, and
we did. Yes.
Lots of people to natter to, and I suppose now it's just quite isolated, aren't you? Really?
Yes, you are. Yes.
How things go. Well, you got the pan of saucies on. The fellas will be, well, they'll be on a lunch break soon, is it?
We've run out of bacon, so...
He'll have to go short.
Yes.
Well, anyway, I'll let you get on. Lovely chatting to you, Mona. Lovely. That was the Governor, Sir Richard Gosney, and many of the competitors involved, with Gordon Clegg, the chairman of the Cronk-y-Voddy Ploughing Association.
Yes, he seemed to enjoy his go at it. He wasn't prepared to do the whole field by the sound of it.
My word, his arms were tired after that. But like he said, he full credit to everybody that once used to plough all of the fields like that with the horses, and in many a condition too. A great number of people in attendance, like Gordon said. And the cake the ladies make, wow, that's second to none.
It is. Well done. You're listening to Countryside here on Manx Radio with Kirree Kermode and myself, Simon Clark. Well, it's been, as we keep saying, difficult times for everybody with things to show to the general public. But this weekend, the Isle of Man Transport Museum at Kirree finally opened its doors for the summer season. I popped along to see what they've been up to during the lockdown period, and I caught up with one of the directors, David Hanscom.
First, David, first weekend of opening, so exciting time.
Yeah, we've been closed ever since September when the second lockdown came in. Although we haven't had the museum open at Easter, which we normally do, it's given us extra time to get the exhibits up to scratch and repaint the floors and totally rearrange it to make it a better presentation to the general public.
Lovely smell of the new fresh paint when you come in here as well. But the lovely thing about this, there's so much variety of the older type of buses, in particular on the transport side of things. And when you see some of them out the back that have arrived here and stripped down, it shows you the work that your team have to do to get them just about as pristine as they can get.
Most of the buses we've got on display some of them were roadworthy when they came to us, but they were all in a sort of neglected state. And over the years, various different people have taken them on as projects and produced them all to the nice presentation state they are today.
And what sort of work, is it mainly the sort of bodywork that fails, with the rest of the transmissions and engines fairly bulletproof?
The engines are normally the slightly easiest bit to restore because they're straightforward, well-made mechanical bits of equipment, but it's normally the bodyworks where they've been left out in the weather, the corrosion's got in, or the paint's just faded and the insides need refurbishing to make them look as they used to look when they were in service again.
What are the shells of buses mainly? Are they aluminium, a lot of them?
Most of these that we've got in the museum are aluminium, but there are a variety of the older ones have got wooden frameworks.
Right.
And most of the newer ones are on aluminium frameworks. And the older ones with the wooden frameworks, they tend to rot over the years. So they're easy to restore, but they take a lot more time because we're actually replacing bits. Where the ones with the aluminium bodyworks, unless they've damaged, they're fairly robust and they don't cost too much compared with a complete rebuild of an older one.
I suppose the difficult bit is there won't be many of them left, so spares will be hard. You have to sort of have a look at it in a discussion amongst yourselves and think, well, who can we get or what can we do to make it?
The moderner buses, they tend to use engines and gearboxes which are used on more than one model of bus. But the older ones, where they were made by the old companies like Leyland and AEC and Daimler and that, those parts are beginning to get a little bit difficult to get hold of. You can get them, but they take a bit of resourcing. Whereas the modern buses, the bodywork's made by one company, somebody else makes the chassis and the engine, so a lot of the bits are interchangeable between different types of bus.
When you look at the Mercedes buses going around today on the roads, all pristine and plug the laptop in to keep them going and stuff. I mean, it's hard to think that, in 50 years' time that people be looking at them and go, wow, look at this old bus. But I suppose nobody would have thought that when these were left to sort of scrapyards and just, thrown away. People would never think that they could be restored back to this state.
Most of the older ones, unless there was enthusiasts involved and they saw the potential and got hold of them fairly early, most of them were just left neglected or sold off for next to nothing. and a high percentage of them ended up being scrapped. We're just fairly lucky that on the Isle of Man we've had a lot of the Manx transport preserved, as you can see by walking around the museum.
And what sort of ages are these buses? I suppose the train and the tram car side, are they older?
This tram car here is the 1890s, I believe, and it was in service till 1929. And this is quite rare because a lot of people look at it and they think it's either an electric tram or a horse tram, but this is actually a cable car. And it ran with a piece of cable laid into the road, and there was a caliper that came down from the bottom of the tram through a slot in the middle of the lines, and it grabbed this cable and it was pulled round. And this particular one ran from the Jubilee clock at the end of Victoria Road, right the way around Upper Douglas, Woodburn Road down there, then down to the old bus station, which used to belong to the corporation at York Road, and then down to the Villa Marina.
So it was a big part of people getting around Douglas.
It was the main way of getting around Upper Douglas, and the only thing that killed it off was the motor bus becoming more popular and more easy to manage, where these were quite extensive because of the amount of engineering and repairs that had to be done to the cable that pulled it all around the island, or all around Douglas.
Wow, it's incredible, and so lucky to have it here in very good condition, really, isn't it?
Yeah. It was restored by a gentleman called Keith Pearson and some of his colleagues. It's recently been repainted by two of our helpers, and they've done a lovely job of it. But when it finished with the Douglas Corporation in 1929, somebody in the north of the island bought two of them, made a holiday bungalow out of them, and it sat as a holiday bungalow until I believe the 1960s, when they started to consider it was worth restoring. And it's a lovely job. This one was converted for ease of showing it off to the general public. When Keith Pearson and his colleagues restored it, they fitted it with an electric motor so as it could be driven down Douglas Promenade, but in fact it never had the electric motor, and we're not even sure if the electric motor still works on it, because since we got it, it's just been put as a static exhibit.
Wow, it's incredible. And you see a lot of the buses lined up. The age ranges of them?
Well, the oldest one here,
MN 54, eh?
That's on permanent loan to the museum from the bus company. It's one of their heritage fleet, and that dates, I think, from either 1924 or 1927.
Really? Yeah.
And the ones up the back end, the Leylands, most of them were still in service 10 years ago.
Yeah, it's incredible to see how the buses are the sort of, I suppose the basic thing of them is the same. You've got a driver and somewhere where the passengers can sit, but the evolution from them to make them bigger and I suppose more economical to run shows in the design of them, but there's just some character to these older ones, isn't there?
The nice thing about the older buses compared with some of the modern ones that you see around the museum, the modern ones you've actually got to look at the name badge that's on them to see actually who manufactured it, because a lot of them look very similar. But the older buses, each manufacturer has a distinctive design, and you could pick them out easily and say that's a Leyland, that's an AEC, or whatever the other bus was.
Yeah, and is it sort of when you get them restored and you start them up for the first time? I mean, what's it feel like when you're all standing around and you get it going, if you've had to redo the engine or something on them?
You're like a big child with a new train set.
But that's the pleasure, I suppose, of being involved in it, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It's a very enjoyable hobby. There's a lot of work involved in it, and some of us, and I'm one of them, aren't particularly good at mechanical aspects, but there's enough helpers here to help you mungle through, and we all help each other with doing all the jobs on each other's buses, which are within your own personal capability.
Excellent stuff. And open now weekends, is it?
We're open at the moment on Sundays only. We're open to the end of September at the moment, but whether we open up any further depends on what happens with the COVID-19 and whether more people come to the island. When we opened earlier in last year, when we were allowed to come out the lockdown, we had a lot of people come forward, but they were mostly residents from the Isle of Man because the holidaymakers couldn't come over. And we're in a very similar sort of situation now, but hopefully, keep our fingers crossed, if the COVID does begin to reduce, especially with everybody getting their jabs and we let the holidaymakers come back, we might be able to open for a lot longer periods. We've routinely opened Saturdays and Sundays from Easter, public holidays, and then special days throughout the year. So we're really waiting to see what happens with the world's epidemic.
David Hanscom from the Isle of Man Transport Museum giving us an insight into what they've been up to, getting ready for the opening season, and some fantastic buses. And that old cable tram car that's in there, there's some wonderful things in there if you're interested in old buses and things like that. But they've been restored miraculously.
It's unbelievable how they can get them back to that shining brand new state, isn't it? The amount of hours and work that goes into it and the detail is just phenomenal. From yesteryear, it's just all brought back to life again.
Yeah, I'll have to get in there myself, see if they can polish me up a little bit. You never know. Anyway, that's all we've got time for on this week's programme. If you go to Manx Radio's website, you can go to the podcast, you can type in Countryside, and you can hear all the interviews that we do in length without having to shorten it down for, obviously, to fit in the Tuesday programme. And you can enjoy it at your leisure, and ones that go back weeks and weeks as well.
And don't forget, you can always pop along to the next Cronk-y-Voddy Ploughing Match there again at Bolliger this coming weekend.
OK, so until next Tuesday at 6 o'clock from me, Simon Clark.
And me, Kirree Kermode.
We'll see you then. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.